Tony Snell at breakfast.
BBC Radio Merseyside.
Now, 1,000 children here in the northwest want nothing more for Christmas than a roof over their head. The homeless charity shelter say that now many youngsters are in temporary accommodation this festive season. Our reporter Mark Gay has been looking at this story for us on breakfast here this morning, and he joins us from an organisation in Liverpool helping people who would otherwise be out there on the cold streets. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Snelly. Was previously at the Whitechapel Centre. I'm now in the basement, not far from where you're sitting at the moment in Parr Street in Liverpool City Centre. I've got Jimmy Dawson, who's a support worker. I've got Sue Bradley, who works here, and I've got two former service users, Tommy and David, who we'll speak to in a moment. Now, Jimmy, I was asking you exactly what the basement does here. How did you describe it just a moment ago?
Well, the basement is a place to help people move on to a better life. You know, people who are homeless, and also homelessness goes with affliction of alcoholism or drug addiction, and we help them to move forward into a better way of living. And,
you know, it's hard to quantify these things. Do you think the people who come through your doors, you are making a difference?
Well, I do, yeah, I really do, because we see people changing and turning their life around all the time.
How much pleasure does it give you when people come here and, you know, they're obviously in a desperate state, and that somehow you, through the work you do, you give them a new direction, new hope, a new vision?
Well, it does give me a lot of pleasure, because it is good to see that. As you know, I once had an affliction myself, so I do know the desperateness out there of trying to get into recovery and move your life forward.
And do the service users respect you because you've been there, you've seen it, you know what they're going through? Anything they tell you is not new to you?
Well, no, and I do think they respect us a lot more, because I feel that they can talk a lot more comfortable, and they actually know it's not read from a textbook, it's actually talking to someone who's been there. So, you know, I think that is the good thing.
Now, Sue Bradley, you work with people who have drug and alcohol problems. What is the biggest hurdle you face in trying to get people to overcome these?
Well, everybody's in their own time of how they go through their addiction. Some people it can be quite quickly when they realise, some people it can be years. It's supporting people through that process and recognising that everybody's different in that process.
And you give them as much time as they need, because it's not an instant thing. They can lapse, they can have bad days, good days.
Yeah, my time is totally for that person that I'm working with at the time, and it's in their own time, you know what I mean? The government policies now are hurrying people more, and we've got to adapt to that. But it's a person-centred approach at the basement, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'll always work like that.
Well, I've got two former service users who will now sing the praises of the work you do. I've got David here, 44. David, you said you had drug and alcohol problems. How has this place turned your life around?
This place helped me. I was a rough sleeper for a number of years. They ended up taking me on a detox and helped me out. From the detox, took me into a 12-step programme, Parkview. From there, I'm now at stage 3 and doing things, going to courses, going to college, doing volunteer work, turn my life around.
You were telling us that you've got a full diary every day now because of this place, between voluntary work and courses. There's hardly time to rest.
Yeah, this place helped me with the transition. It was hard because I lived rough and committed crime for a number of years, so it became the norm after a while. So to change your life around is not as easy as it seems, you know.
But you're showing it's possible.
Yeah, it is possible, yeah, but it's not as easy as it seems, but it can be done, yeah.
You're sitting next to the Christmas tree, and you told me this year Christmas is going to be especially good for you.
Yeah, it's the first Christmas I'll have with my family. I'm spending it with my daughter at Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, first time in about 15 years, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's got to be something. It's going to be emotional. I don't know if you're a man who sheds tears, but it's something that a lot of people would love to see happen, and maybe will never happen in their lives. It's happening for you.
Yeah, it's going to be very special this year, yeah. Better than sleeping outside rough, which you've done for many years, on Christmas Day.
And I'll just come over now to Tommy, 33, another ex-service user. How has the basement helped you?
Well, the basement guided me through some very dark days, and you know, got me into a rehabilitation centre, which I stuck at, and I'm sitting here today now with my life. I'm no longer homeless. I've got my own little place. I've got an amazing partner, and I've just done an MVQ diploma, and I'm looking on moving on.
Of course, the big problem for a lot of people now, even if the basement helps you to get rid of your, say, the abuses in your life, is getting work. And obviously, this isn't a good time to be looking for jobs. But do you have a positive outlook now, which you mightn't have had before you came here?
Yeah, I have a great... the positivity I feel for the future is unbelievable. The austerity cuts won't affect me, I don't think.
And you said you have an amazing partner, and you can have an amazing Christmas.
Yeah, this will be my third Christmas off the streets, and looking forward to the new year.
I suppose, having been on the streets, you appreciate it all the more than a lot of people would take being at home for Christmas, being with the family. That maybe people do take it for granted. You certainly don't.
No, you know, it's a time for quiet reflection for, you know, a lot of my friends and associates who never made it. So I'll be lighting a candle and saying a few prayers.
And finally, one word you said, because at the very start I asked Jimmy Dawson to describe this place. You came up with a word about this place in the description before that others haven't. Just tell me what you said before we went on air.
Yeah, it's a little oasis in the middle of the city where you can come, if you're homeless, you can come and have friendly and great advice.
Well, I think that sums it up. I'd say a big grin on Jimmy Dawson's face. Also, Sue Bradley as well. Thanks also to Tommy. That was to David. That was Tommy there. So, Snelly, you know, we talk about homelessness. It is a big problem, and it is in some places getting worse. But there are people and places on Merseyside who are making a real difference and helping turn people's lives around. Yeah,
it always ends up being in our consciousness at this time of the year, though, Mark. Maybe we should all work a little bit harder and maybe do it in June or April or September, and not just at this time of the year. But thank you very much indeed for that. And